Next, we have Maria Seidler from Legal Overwatch.
I had a huge argument with one board when we were trying to decide who they were going to endorse for state superintendent. And I ended up resigning from that board because they wanted to endorse the other candidate and not our state superintendent, Ryan Walters, because I believed that he would take accreditation complaints serious. And he knows that every time I showed up at one of your meetings, what was my chant? Accreditation, accreditation, accreditation. So when I saw that Agenda 7 was on accreditation, I had to speak. Now, I am an attorney. I work pro bono and I represent parents at Shawnee. I drafted a complaint against the accreditation of the Shawnee School District, focusing on two standards, Standard 1 and Standard 2. And I'm disappointed because from what I heard, and I listened to TPS Superintendent Gist's meeting yesterday as she talked about deficiencies, the one thing I didn't hear and I haven't heard is how Standard 1, which guarantees that we're going, that the schools are to educate every child in preparation for life. And then Standard 2 is parent and community relationships with that school district, with that school board. And those two things I don't believe are being included in the accreditation. And yet those are the two I use to base the complaint against Shawnee, which I says client, and against another client, again, on behalf of another client against Keys Public School, small rural school. I'm going to encourage that you, I'm not sure where it goes, but you got to review how accreditations are being performed. And you need to take a look at those two standards and then actually investigate the culture in these schools. They can offer and have it and check off the boxes of all the different classes they're supposed to have. They can have all the right teachers, but if there's a culture that we see in schools that enable bullying, I mean, we have very specific laws about bullying, schools aren't following it, but that's not in the accreditation standards. So I would really encourage, if you have, last I heard the count was around 300 parents' complaints being filed. If there's complaints that are outstanding against a school that is now in front of you for accreditation, that accreditation should be postponed until those complaints are reviewed, are considered, and a finding made. And if the school culture is not supporting academics, because a bullying culture, kids aren't learning. A woke culture, they're not learning, you know, and a culture that has actually given a green light because every teacher that knew, the superintendent who knew, never did not follow the mandatory reporting law, that school's accreditation should be downgraded. That's where learning starts. Like I said, keeping kids safe. So I would encourage you to postpone a lot of the accreditation votes you have today. And that's the end of my 3 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Maria.